Hey everybody, just got back from working out and been having a lot of people asking me about the minimalistic workout. What's the basic bare bones minimalistic workout that I can do? So I've been thinking a lot about minimalism in fitness is basically simplicity. We're gonna work at this minimalistic workout at home. So no gym, can start today, very simple. I looked into what I could do and not take away from my home life. I didn't want to take away from my weekends with my kids. I had to mow the lawn on Saturdays. I couldn't. There's nothing I can do between 5:30 in the morning and 4. So I needed to find something that I could do to get back into shape. Two things. The first thing was everybody knows that abs are made in the kitchen. Was my eating lifestyle and lifting weights. So this is what we're gonna break down. So I am here to show you that if you're a dad, if you don't think you have the time, if you don't think you have the money, if you're intimidated about going to the gym, you don't have to. I'd like to get you into the gym. I'd like to get you in shape enough that you can walk into the gym and want to actually continue your journey. But here's where we're going to start. You're here because you are sick of what's going on and you want to change it. So this is the first step. So let's pretend you had a personal trainer. First thing he's going to ask you is, what are your goals? Why did you hire me? Why are you paying me money to come here and personally train you? We're trying to get into shape. We're dads. We're sick of having the dad bod. We just want to get into shape. It's very simple. So that's why you're here. You don't have to have any fancy programs. You have to have just basically consistency. Now, consistency, in my opinion, is the number one most important component in any workout program. With a workout program, you have frequency, volume, and intensity. Frequency is how often you work out. Volume is how much weight you use, and intensity is how intense you go. Low weight, high rep kind of workout, that's a low intensity. That's good for people that are just trying to get movement. Maybe you're 90 years old and you want to still be able to go and check the mail. Volume, power lifters, they want huge weights, we're not that. So volume and intensity are, let's say they're medium. And the reason that frequency is the most important component is because if you overdo it in the beginning, you make yourself too sore and you can't return when it's your next workout day. I had a friend when I was a meat cutter in Vermont back in 2014. I was working out, lifting weights consistently at the gym at YMCA. And this guy, this other meat cutter, 30-year-old guy, skinny beanpole of a kid, he said, I want to get into working out. Can I come join you? And I said, absolutely. I'd love to have a workout partner. Now, like I said, I've been working out and lifting weights since 1991. So this is 2014. I had a program that I did. I had weights that I did. I was used to it. I was conditioned for this. And I wasn't a trainer. So he came and he joined me. And I took him through my workout. 25 minutes into that workout, he actually had to sit against the wall because he said he was feeling like he was going to pass out. And, of course, he stopped that workout. The next day, he called in sick. He was too sore to do his job. And to be honest, sadly, I don't think he ever returned to the gym. So it's very important you start, and you don't want to be crippled sore when you come for the next workout. So what you do for that is you're going to do a self-assessment workout. Now, the self-assessment is 5 different exercises that I'm going to show you outside in a little bit, and you're going to do those at a very minimum base. You're going to write that down, and then you're going to assess the next day how you feel. And if you can do a little bit more, that at least you know you can do that, and you're able to return. The self-assessment workout. We're going to run through this real quick. It's very simple. First thing we're going to do is push-ups. No, just drop down, shoulder width apart, bang out 10 push-ups, and then when you're done with that, you're going to write it down and see. Now, like I said, You get to 10 and you're like, this is a breeze. Do 5 more, okay? And then put down 15. But what we're really wanting to know is, how do you feel the next day? Do you feel like you had a workout? Because if you didn't even feel it, then you know what? Go back there and do 20, 25 and see if you feel it. Because that's the self-assessment. Then you know, okay, when I'm starting, when I push myself, if I do 30 or 40 push-ups, maybe you do 2 sets of 15 or 2 sets of 20 on Monday. Wednesday I'm going to be back and I'm going to try to do maybe a little bit more, you know, maybe a set of 22 and a set of 20, and that's how we progress. So the next one is squats. Now squats is we're testing out our quads, our glutes, and our core. For men 30 or over, this is controversial. A lot of guys say, oh, you know, the barbell squat is completely fine if you do it perfect form. Yeah, if you do it with perfect form. I don't want to mess with that. I don't do that kind of squat. I want to work on my quads, I want to work on my glutes, and I want to do a squat, and I want to come back the next day and do it again. So I go with the goblet squat. Now goblet squat is, the reason they call it goblet squat is because you carry a dumbbell like a goblet. Now we don't have to have a dumbbell or goblet. We just put our hands up in front like this, and you squat down, get your elbows between your knees, and back up. Squat down, elbows between your knees, back up. You're going to do that 10 times and see where you're at. Now, let's say you tried it and you really couldn't do it. So there's easier ways to kind of do that. You're going to back up a little bit. And the way that you can do it at home, still doing a squat, still progressing, is grab a doorknob on either end. Hold that doorknob and then go down and then go back up. And that's what that's doing, is it's taking a little bit of weight off the quads, a little bit of weight off the glutes, and it's giving you a place to start. So I'm gonna write that down, see how you can do. See, go for 10, go for 15, see how your legs feel. They might be shaky after you're doing 15 or so of those squats. The other good thing about goblet squats I like is, once you do that without anything at home, if you want to progress, you can grab anything. A baby, I'll hold my baby and I'll squat. Get a good little, little 11-pound, 12-pound addition. But really any type of weight. Okay, so lunges is the next, and lunges are basically, all they are is you start like this, take a step, put your knee to the ground, and step back. Then the next one. Now what you're doing there is you're doing basically your quads and your glutes too, but you're doing your hamstrings also, but you're working in your hip flexors. You're working in that area, and this is something that we want to work out when we're a little bit older. We want to make sure that our posterior chain and our hip flexors are really well taken care of. Now, let's say you have bad knees. The lunge is not for bad knees. However, there is a version of the lunge that you can do that is much less impact on the knees, and that's a reverse squat. I mean, a reverse lunge. You basically start like this, but you go back. You go down. Okay, it's a lot easier on the knees because the knees are right over your chest. So the next thing is dips. Now, I'm going to pull out a lounge chair here. When it comes to your arms, it's really difficult to get an exercise at home without any equipment. However, I still use this form of dips when I'm working out my triceps at the gym as a finishing exercise. I think it's one of the best tricep exercises that you can do. There's plenty out there you can do, but this is the one I want you to try for your self-assessment. You're basically gonna get like this, sit on it, put your palms like here, put your feet out a little bit, like that. Go down, feel that stretch in your shoulders, and then you go up. Now, the more you bend your knees, the easier it is. The more you straighten your legs out, the tougher it is. So you just can make it as easy as you want, but just get that, do about 10 of them, and see how you feel. See if your arms are shaking, and then write that down and go on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is pull-ups, which I'm gonna have to show you over the other part of my yard, and so I'll see you in a second. All right, so here we are. This is the last workout for the exercise for the self-assessment. So I said, what's the cheapest way we can do this and still do pull-ups? So I found these handles. All they are is handles with a carabiner, $9.95 on Amazon, and everybody's got ratchet straps. Got 2 ratchet straps, and I ratcheted them to a branch. Here we are under the trees, and I'm going to show you pull-ups. Now, how you're going to do a self-assessment with these pull-ups is you're going to see where you need to be to get a good workout. What we're doing is we're doing actually inverted pull-ups, where we're going to lean back a little bit and we're going to do a pull-up motion. So depending on how strong you are, you can lean back even farther. So you want to start as light as possible. So I'm just going to lean back just a little bit like this, and just drop down and pull up. And the good thing about these handles is you can turn them like this and turn them. It's kind of more of a natural motion for your arms when you're doing that. Now, if I find out, you know what, that was pretty easy. So what I would do then is I'm going to get way down and then pull up, way down and pull up. Now, this is a lot like a seated row on a machine in a gym, but this is working your biceps and it's working your lats a lot. The great thing about these exercises is because after I get tired doing that, I can kind of lean back again, do a couple more light ones. So anyway, that's the self-assessment workout. You're going to do that. You're going to write that down. You're going to mark and say, okay, this is how I want to lean back when I want to start my my pull-ups. And why don't you comment below and let me know how you did, where your baselines are. Please ask me any questions that you have about each exercise, or any comments you have about that. Now, right after this, we're going to get set up, and I'm going to show you the minimalistic workout. Okay, here we are with the minimalistic workout. All right, we basically went over quite a bit of exercises that we're going to be using with this, but I wanted to kind of break down the workout. So when we want to do a full body workout of our muscles, I'm talking about lifting, we want to encompass the 7 basic human movements that we do. That's the squat, the lunge, the hinge, there's push, pull, and then also twist. Twist is your obliques and your core, things like that. So we're going to kind of try to get an exercise that encompass all of those. I've done it in 5 different exercises that we can do. You can do 1 set each for starting out, and then as you progress, maybe 2 sets each, and then maybe 3 sets each of each, and as you go, you get better and better. So we already went over the first one, I said, which was the goblet squat. That's a great exercise to get started because it's a compound exercise. It uses almost every muscle in your body. When you do a squat, you're engaging the core, you're using the quads, you're using the glutes, you're using your calves, you're holding something in your hand if you go with weights, which is actually even better for your core, and it's just kind of getting your entire body ready to start working out. So I'll show you again what I did last time. I'll turn to the side and show you what you want to do. Pretend you're holding something, or you can grab something, hold it in front of you like it's a goblet. And then you're going to stick your butt out, and you're going to go down, and you're going to try to get your elbows between your knees, just touching like that. And your back is straight, look up, stand back up. One of the main things you want to make sure about when you're doing these squats is that your back stays straight. And that's one of the reasons why I say if you do a front weighted squat like that, you're a lot less likely than if you're doing something on your back and you're going down, and because you're ready to go like that, and that can end up tragic. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, second one you haven't seen yet. It's called the hip hinge drill. It's also known as a good morning. This has been an exercise that guys have been doing since the 40s, I think. But it is basically for your lower back. I'm just grab this broomstick because this is the only thing I had on hand. But you get like this, hold that like that, stick your butt out, you're going to go all the way down. Now, when you go down like this, you're going to look forward, and you're going to keep your lower back as straight as possible and stick your chest out. You're going to feel it in your hamstrings like crazy.
Then you're going to look up, and you're going to stand back up, and you're going to bring your butt up. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to stick your butt out, go down, get as far down as you can, and then stick your butt back up like that. Now, that's great for your lower back, but it's also fantastic for your hamstrings. If you're tight, you'll understand what I'm saying. That is an exercise that if you have a back injury or any back spasms and you go to a physical therapist, they're going to have you doing those quite a bit because it's really engaging that lower back and getting that posterior chain worked out. So the next one after that, basic push-up. There's really nothing you can do is push. You want to do something with push, and there's not much going on with anything else but push. I mean, if you go to the gym, you're going to do dumbbell presses, you're going to do barbell presses, you're going to do the machines. They do have the fly machine, which is something that's going to isolate the pecs more. But right now we're sticking with the push-up. Now, with the basic push-up, hands shoulder width apart, that's great. If you want to get froggy with it, you can alter your hands at different positions. You can put your hands in the diamond shape, do push-ups like this, kind of increase that line in the middle of your chest. And then if you really, really want to engage your pectoral muscles, you're going to do a wide grip a push-up, where you go down and push up. There's not going to be much movement, but it's going to be a lot of stretch. When you're doing these, you want to do them nice and slow, get as close to the floor as you can, and then just kind of hold it there for a little while. Count it 2, 3, and then push up, and then same thing. So that's when you are progressing and you're wanting a little bit more out of it. That's something that you can do. Then, as we talked about recently, was the inverted rows. That's the pull. That is going to be doing your biceps, your lats, your traps, everything and every muscle that has anything to do with pulling, and you're going to go with that. Just like anything else, you're going to start nice and easy, and as you progress, you're going to make it harder. Add a couple of sets, add more reps, things like that. Definitely want to keep a notebook so that when you come back, you look at what you did and you want to make a little bit of an improvement. Now, I always say, on Monday you did this much. I wouldn't count on doing more on Wednesday. I would probably look till next Monday. So look back at last Monday and say, okay, I did 40 push-ups. I want to do at least 41, and that's it. And these little baby steps that you do in working out is exactly how you succeed. Nobody starts lifting heavy weights by making those huge jumps. When I do cardio, I jump in on the stair mill. I'll do 10 minutes on the stair mill, and I'll be done, right? Because I haven't done it in probably 2 or 3 months. Well, so let's say I make it to 10 minutes. I take a day off. I come back the next day. I want to do 10 minute and 1 second. And as long as I did 10 minute 1 second, I succeeded. And if you do it like that, you keep coming back consistently, those seconds add up to minutes. And the next thing you know, you're way farther ahead than you were. And it's all it is just those little tiny baby steps, and call them wins. They're definitely wins. The last thing is the twist. We want to work out the core, the obliques, and that really helps with back pain too. So that's the only thing that you really have to kind of get on the floor with is you're going to be doing like a sit-up. But what you're doing is you're kind of getting back into the almost laying down, and then you're going to touch like this and see how many times you can do that. And you're twisting, you're engaging all your abdominal muscles, your obliques and your lower and upper, and you're just doing that. And this is plenty to work on when it comes to your core. Everybody is all about getting abs. How can you do this? And they're showing all these crazy workouts about these people doing these abs. I do decline sit-ups, and then I do leg raises on the dip machine. That's all I ever do for abs. Abs are made in the kitchen. They're not made by doing tons and tons of crunches. Most of these movements, most of these exercises that you're doing, they encompass the abs. They engage the abs. So if you're doing all these things, you're working your abs out. but you want to get that twist because you want to make sure you have more stability, and that helps. Gives you that V taper that everybody's looking for. Okay, so that's your minimalistic workout. I want you to go out, get a notebook, and do a self-assessment. Let me know how it went. Let me know any of your questions. And if you got any value out of this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe so that YouTube knows that people are wanting this video, and they'll show that to more people. And go ahead and share this with a friend if you want. Because if you tell a friend and you get a partner when it comes to working out, I've always said that's the best investment you can make in your fitness, is because with a partner you have accountability. The days that, if you guys decide to work out together, the days that you don't want to work out, he's going to want to work out. The days that he doesn't want to work out, you're going to call him and be like, bro, you got to go work out. And that really, really leads to success. So that's just one more thing. All right, well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you succeed.